Good afternoon, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Typhoon Podul hits Taiwan's southeast coast. Hundreds of flights cancelled. Thousands moved to shelters. Ukraine says Alaska summit a personal victory for Putin. European leaders reach out to Trump and Zelensky for online talks. Olympic champion Sweden's Duplantis stuns global sports fraternity again, breaks his own pole vault world record for the 13th time. Typhoon Podul has hit Taiwan's sparsely populated southeast coast on Wednesday, packing winds up to 191 kilometers per hour. The typhoon unleashed strong winds and heavy rains on Green Island, located off Taiwan's southeastern Taitung province. A large swath of southern and eastern parts of the island have been shut down and hundreds of flights were cancelled. Podul slammed into the southeastern city of Taitung around 500 hours GMT. Thousands of people were sheltered. Fishermen have secured their boats across Taiwan. Many ferry services have been suspended and businesses and schools across the south are closed. More than 31,500 soldiers were ready to assist in typhoon preparations as well as rescue and relief operations. More than 5,500 people have been evacuated from their homes. Hundreds of flights were cancelled in Taiwan as authorities took measures to brace for the impact. The departure hall at Taipei Songshan Airport was nearly empty as all domestic flights were cancelled on Wednesday. 252 flights in total, while 129 international flights were axed as well. Some more weather updates. Wildfires have been wreaking havoc as brutal heat wave continues to grip across Europe and Canada. More in this report. Wildfires raged in parts of Europe as millions across the continent face the harsh new reality of record-breaking summer temperatures. In southern Europe, 3 men lost their lives and thousands were forced to evacuate their homes as wildfires intensified. Heat alerts were issued in Italy, France, Spain, Portugal and the Balkans, with temperatures expected to exceed 40 degrees Celsius. As per the Weather Agency of France, temperatures around 41 degrees Celsius will prevail in the areas under highest alert for heat on Wednesday. Meanwhile, a wildfire in Spain's Chandresia de Queixia continued to burn, destroying nearly 3,500 hectares. In Spain, the Met Department stated that temperatures were set to reach 44 degrees Celsius in some regions. Firefighters in southern Albanian town of Delvina are also battling wildfires that have encircled the city. Extra firefighters and army personnel joined efforts to control the blaze, prompting precautionary evacuations. In Greece, a wildfire raged across hills close to a residential area on the island of Zakynthos. In Turkey, firefighters battle to contain a raging blaze as thick clouds of smoke and flames engulfed a wooded area in the western province of Izmir. Elsewhere, crew managed to contain several wildfires burning across the country. Montenegro's beach town of Bilarica also faced a wildfire, with thick smoke rising above the town. Authorities across Europe have issued various heat warnings as climate change intensifies the severity of wildfires. In another continent, firefighters battled a wildfire on the outskirts of Halifax, Nova Scotia, as heat wave grips the nation in Canada, with some local businesses evacuated. Kajal's report for DD India. Moving on, as the presidents of United States and Russia are meeting in Alaska on Friday, concerns are emerging over Ukraine being left out, where a possible deal may emerge to end the conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, meanwhile, has called the summit a personal victory for Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Zelensky expressed concern that Russia will put forward hardline demands and that Trump will hammer out a deal that will demand Ukraine cede swaths of territories. But Zelensky seems to be standing his ground for now. He also ruled out withdrawing troops from Ukraine's eastern Donbas region as part of the peace deal. The Donbas encompasses the eastern Ukrainian regions of Lugansk and Donetsk, both of which Russia claims as its own and has sought to control since 2022. Zelensky also said he had received a signal from US envoy Steve Witkoff that Russia might agree to a ceasefire without elaborating. He said Friday's summit would effectively postpone new US sanctions on Russia, sanctions that Trump had promised to impose if Putin refused to halt this conflict.
То з Україною. Також сьогодні була доповідь розвідки і військового командування про те, на що розраховує Путін і до чого реально готується. Зокрема, це і приготування воєнні. Він точно не готується до припинення вогню і війни. Путін налаштований тільки на те, щоб подати зустріч з Америкою як свою особисту перемогу. І далі продовжувати діяти так, як і раніше. Тиснути на Україну так, як і раніше.
In the first US-Russia summit since 2021, Putin and Trump will meet on Friday at Almendorf Air Force Base in Alaska. To prepare for the summit, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held a call with US counterpart Marco Rubio, who told a US radio show earlier that Trump did not regard the meeting as a concession to Russia. The White House, meanwhile, confirmed the meeting came about after Putin requested it, though Trump is open to a trilateral meeting with Putin and Zelensky later. Meanwhile, European leaders will hold online talks with US President Donald Trump on Wednesday ahead of Trump-Putin talks over Ukraine. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has invited Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, French, British and other European leaders and the heads of EU and NATO will also attend the talks on Wednesday afternoon. Trump-Putin meeting on Friday is so far planned to go ahead without Zelensky. This has fueled fears Kyiv could be forced into painful concessions, including over land. Earlier on Tuesday, EU leaders stressed the inherent right of Ukraine to choose its own destiny, adding that international borders must not be changed by force. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said President wanted to size up Putin directly. Along those lines, Trump's administration tempered expectations for major progress towards a ceasefire, calling the summit a listening exercise.
I think this is a listening exercise for the president. Look, only one party that's involved in this war is going to be present. And so this is for the president to go and to get, again, a more firm and better understanding of how we can hopefully bring this war to an end. I think this is a listening exercise.
In other developments, Russian President Vladimir Putin held phone call with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, updated him on planned talks Putin will hold with US President Trump in Alaska this week. Kim and Putin discussed the development in the country's ties under a strategic partnership agreement signed last year, confirming their will to strengthen cooperation in the future. Putin expressed appreciation for North Korea's help in liberating the Kursk region in western Russia in the conflict against Ukraine. The White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said Friday's Alaska summit between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Putin is a listening exercise for the president.
I think this is a listening exercise for the president. Look, only one party that's involved in this war is going to be present. And so this is for the president to go and to get, again, a more firm and better understanding of how we can hopefully bring this war to an end.
Moving on to West Asia, a Hamas delegation arrived in Cairo, Egypt on Tuesday for talks on possible agreement with Israel as Egypt presented the terror group with a new proposal for a comprehensive deal. Egypt, along with Qatar and the United States, has been trying to help Israel and Hamas reach peace. Despite efforts, no breakthrough has happened since a short-term truce earlier this year. The Hamas team, led by chief negotiator Khalil al-Hayya, were invited by Egypt to discuss the latest developments in ceasefire talks and prisoner exchanges. Cairo meetings will focus on ending hostilities and releasing prisoners. The discussions include a potential 60-day truce, followed by longer negotiations. They also aim to exchange all Israeli captives, both alive and deceased, in one deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to expand military control over Gaza is expected to be launched in October this year. The military chief of staff has warned it could endanger surviving hostages and prove a death trap for Israeli soldiers. It has also raised fears of further displacement and hardship among the Palestinians in the Gaza City region. Foreign ministers of 24 countries, including Britain, Canada, Australia, France and Japan, said on Tuesday the humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached unimaginable levels and urged Israel to allow unrestricted aid into the enclave. Israel denies responsibility for hunger in Gaza, accusing Hamas of stealing aid. It says it has taken steps to increase deliveries, including pausing fighting for parts of the day in some areas and announcing protected routes for aid convoys. Ecuador Health Minister Jimmy Martin denies 18 newborn deaths, confirmed that 12 cases are currently under investigation. During a press conference at the Guayaquil University Hospital, Jimmy Martin stated that 12 infants have died in July from various causes, among which 2 have shown presence of the KPC bacteria. Martin also explains an epidemiological alert was issued and protocols were activated earlier to prevent the spread of this bacteria. The Ecuadorian prosecutor's office has launched an investigation into the deaths following the Ministry of Health's identification of bacterial contamination as a possible cause in 2 cases. Bolivian presidential candidate Doria Medina marched through the main streets of La Paz, accompanied by a large crowd of supporters in a demonstration that marked the final day of his campaign on Tuesday. During this event, Doria Medina expressed confidence that he would secure victory in the presidential elections. According to polls published on Sunday, the candidate is currently leading in electoral preference. In his closing remarks, the candidate outlined some of his key promises for the first 100 days in office, including the return of US dollars to the Bolivian market and the normalization of fuel supply, the 2 issues that have raised public concern. Mexico sent more than 24 suspected cartel members to the United States on Tuesday amid rising pressure from President Trump on Mexico to dismantle the country's powerful drug organizations. Mexico's Attorney General's office and Security Ministry said in a joint statement that authorities shipped 26 prisoners wanted in the U.S. for ties to drug trafficking groups. Mexico said U.S. Department of Justice had requested their extradition and that it would not seek the death penalty for the accused cartel members. The transfer is the second of its kind this year. In February, Mexican authorities sent 29 alleged cartel leaders to the U.S. In a statement, the U.S. Embassy said among those extradited were key figures in the Jalisco New Generation cartel and the Sinaloa cartel, which are Mexico's 2 dominant organized crime groups. Still to come on this edition of ddindia Live. India's Namrata Batra makes history, becomes India's first ever medalist in Wushu at the World Games. And it's World Organ Donation Day today, a day to raise awareness of organ donations.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. South Korean prosecutors raided the headquarters of the former party jailed ex-president Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday. The raid was conducted to gather evidence in an election meddling case against his wife, Kim Kyun-hee. a day after she was arrested on corruption and other charges. Kim is South Korea's only former First Lady to be arrested, joining her husband, ex-President Yoon Suk-yeol. The court issued the warrant for Kim's detention, the special prosecutor appointed in early June said in a brief message. The charges against her range from stock fraud to bribery and illegal influence peddling. Kim is also accused of receiving 2 Chanel bags, together valued at 20 million won, and a diamond necklace from a religious group as a bribe in return for influence favorable to its business interests, though Kim's lawyers have previously denied the accusations. Japan's Nikkei share average rose above 43,000 for the first time on Wednesday, with the broader Topix index also marking a fresh all-time high, tracking Wall Street's overnight gains and extending the rally into a 6th straight session. Nikkei 225 gained as much as 1.4% to touch a record 43,309.62 and extend its winning run to 7.5% since August 4. The broader Topix advanced 1% to an unprecedented 3,097.94. S&P 500 and Nasdaq finished at fresh highs on Tuesday after U.S. data showed a tamer than a feared impact on prices from President Donald Trump's tariff blitz that boosted hopes among some investors that U.S. Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell will cut interest rates next month. The Indian benchmark indices, Sensex and Nifty, traded on a positive note on Wednesday, tracking gains in Asian markets. Easing of domestic inflation has further lifted the investor sentiments. Among sectors except FMCG, all other sectoral indices are trading in green, with auto, metal, realty, pharma up from 0.5 to 1%. BSE mid-cap and small-cap indices were up 0.5% each. The BSE 30-share Sensex was trading at 80,359 levels, up 124 points, while NSE 50-share Nifty trading around 24,557 levels. Some news from the Indian Parliament. Parliament on Tuesday passed a new income tax bill to replace the 6-decades-old Income Tax Act 1961 before it took a 5-day break and will reconvene on August 18th. Rajya Sabha returned the bill to Lok Sabha with a voice vote after its swift passage in the lower house that last Monday within just 3 minutes amid opposition protests. The new Income Tax Bill 2025 aims to simplify and modernize India's income tax framework without altering existing tax rates, creating a more straightforward and taxpayer-friendly law set to come into force from 1st of April 2026. The landmark National Sports Governance Bill was also passed, which will transform India's sporting landscape and make decision-making athlete-centric. The National Anti-Doping Amendment Bill, which reinforces NADA's autonomy as required by the World Anti-Doping Agency, was also passed by the Parliament. The two bills now await the President's assent to be notified as acts. During the discussion, Minister Mansukh Mandavia said that since sports is a public movement, its 3 major stakeholders, athletes, federations and government, needed to have mutual coordination and transparency to convert talent of the nation's sportspersons into medals. And the sports fraternity has reacted to the new sports bill. Let's listen in.
The passing of the National Sports Bill is a big victory for all of us athletes. It will strengthen our dream and brighten the future of sports. We sincerely thank the government for this historic step.
I believe this act greatly benefit Indian sport in 2 major areas. One, through forming National Sports Board, which will have the authority to grant or cancel registration or recognition of a organization, sports organization. This board will also have the authority to audit, to ensure if the body is not functioning properly, to constitute ad hoc committees, also to see that the sports must have ethics and safe sports policy, especially the athlete who are below 18, athlete who are the girls, the women. So this will ensure that the sports board will be playing a major role through this act.
India secured 2 quotas for the upcoming Asian Games 2026 from Asian Surfing Championships 2025, which concluded in Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu on Tuesday. The slots, one each in men's and women's shortboard, were awarded based on ranking points earned at the continental meet, which served as the final qualifying event for the Asian Games 2026. With this, India now bagged the maximum 4 quotas for Asian Games 2026 to be held in Aichi, Nagoya, Japan, where surfing will make its debut. India's first 2 quotas came at the 2024 edition of the championship in the Maldives. On to Chennai Grandmasters 2025. Germany's Vincent Kemmer preserved his 1-point lead after playing out a tense draw with India's Arjun Adigasi in 6th round on Tuesday. Playing with the white pieces, Kemmer had gained early control with an innovative opening play, only to be stonewalled by Adigasi in the middle game. With no room left to maneuver for either, the two shook hands for a draw after 41 moves each. Meanwhile, Nihal Sareen continued his topsy-turvy tournament as he stumbled to a defeat with white pieces against Netherlands' Odden von Forest. Olympic champion Sweden's Armand Mondo Duplantis stunned the world once again after he broke his own world record for the 13th time on Tuesday. Duplantis bettered his pole vault world record by a centimetre, clearing 6.29 metres at athletics meet in Budapest. The double Olympic gold medalist soared over the bar at the second attempt to improve on his 6.28 metres from Stockholm in June. It was the 25-year-old's third record of 2025, having also cleared the 6.27 metres in Clermont-Ferrand in February. Indian wushu player Namrata Batra scripted history on Tuesday. Namrata became India's first ever wushu medalist at the World Games in Chengdu, China. She clinched silver in the women's 52 kg category, going down to her Chinese opponent in the finals. Earlier, Namrata defeated Philippines' Krizan Faith Calado 2-0 in the semi-finals to assure India of its first ever World Games medal in the sport of wushu. It's World Organ Day today, observed annually on August 13th. It aims to raise awareness about the importance of organ donation and to encourage individuals to pledge to donate their organs after death. Here's more in this report.
Organ donation has the power to save lives and significantly improve the quality of life for those suffering from organ failure. In this situation, Tamil Nadu stands out as the leading state in organ donation, as highlighted in this news bulletin. Tamil Nadu has been a pioneer in implementing a deceased organ transplant program in India. This year, India once again honored Tamil Nadu with the Best State Award in organ donation. The state recorded 268 brain dead donors, the highest number in a single calendar year from any state in the country. From these donors, 1,500 organs and tissues were retrieved and successfully transplanted to patients in need. The state's success is attributed to the establishment of the Transplant Authority of Tamil Nadu, which manages the entire organ donation and transplantation process. Transplant Authority of Tamil Nadu ensures transparency, efficiency, and strict adherence to ethical guidelines. In recognition of this effort, the central government presented the Best State in Organ Donation Award to Tamil Nadu in a ceremony held in Delhi. The award was received by Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan, Member Secretary of the Transplant Authority of Tamil Nadu, from Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan elaborated on how this achievement was made possible and detailed the procedures followed by the Tamil Nadu government for organ donation.
To put it in one sentence, it is a beautiful example for the importance of a cohesive and coordinated and focused strategy wherein all the stakeholders join hands and move together towards achieving the goal. Who were the stakeholders? A strong political dispensation, the government, the bureaucracy, the technocrats, meaning the healthcare providers, the visual and print media, and most importantly, the public. All the 5 domains join hands and move together in achieving this. There have been some newer initiatives or best practices which were introduced during the past couple of years. Each one of them proved to be of great benefit. The first thing is that conducting a honor walk for the deceased donor after the organs are retrieved, before the mortal remains get into the ambulance. A huge gathering within the hospital campus, offering floral tributes. This really gave a lot of solace for the family. And subsequently, the government of Tamil Nadu passed an important historic government order, based on which the tributes, honors will be accorded to the deceased donor at the residence of the donor before final rites by the district collector or sub-collector or a top-ranking district official not below the rank of RDO.
One person's organ donate has the power to save multiple precious lives. We should realize this and come forward to donate organ. We should also create the awareness about this. This is Rajagopalan along with camera person Rahavan for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Have a great day ahead. Namaskar.